Welcome back. We've come a long way. We have hooked up our Grails application to our database, and we just added some controllers and some views to our Grails application, so now that it finally does something. It's returning useful information to our users. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to move away from the default look and feel of Grails that comes prepackaged. We're going to start customizing our application to make it look a little bit different. You'll notice that in our package here, our Super Sprite package, we have our Views folder, and within our Views folder, we have a Layouts file, a Layouts folder, and then we have a main Groovy server page. If I go into the Search by ID view, you'll notice that in here I've got this information: meta, name, layout, content, main. So this is actually calling the following. It's calling this main.jsp. If we look in here, you'll see that this is the place where we're calling that image, that Grails image that appears up here. What we'd like to do is we'd like to create our own customized header that we're going to place at the top. And to do that, we're going to come in here at Layouts, we're going to right click, and we're going to say New. We're going to say New Groovy Server Page, and I'm going to do an underscore, HEDER. I'm going to say Finish. So why the underscore header? Well, my understanding of this is that Grails comes packaged with a standard called Site Mesh, and this is one of the standards that Site Mesh uses with that underscore. So we're just going to use that for now. We're going to run with it. I'm going to paste the following into our underscore header file here. I'm going to save, and this right here is going to then print the word we want. Sprite and search. We want, let's call this Super Sprite in. It's super and it's duper. Something silly. So now I've created this header. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to include that header into our main. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to replace the body. So that we're no longer going to call the code that calls the that Grails image. There's the code that calls that. What we're going to do now is we're actually going to use this render tag, and we're going to call the header that we just created. Yes, I know that the underscore header doesn't match this header, but this is one of the standards of Site Mesh. It's just how it works. So in our main, we are now calling that header. So wherever we call this main.jsp, which is both in search by ID, our search by ID view, and our list view, we should also, as a result, be calling this header that we just created. So let's go ahead, let's run our application. So our server started up, and now we're going to see what this guy looks like. Aha, there we go. So instead of showing that that Grails icon, now we're showing our own slogan along with a little catchphrase underneath it. And if I type in something here, if I click on Submit, it's also being called from the list students view. So we've configured the stuff at the top. Now let's change some of the CSS that we've got going on in this program. So if we go down to Web App, if we select CSS, in here we'll have a main file, a main.css file. double click on this and you've got a bunch of information. So I would like to show you a few things that I've changed. Here's the old file that currently exists, and in here there's just a lot of information regarding what color to make things. My institution, one of the main colors is red, so I'm going to replace this green with a red shade. Again, changing the color for a few different things. Some more color stuff that I'm changing. Changing the color of the tables, or changing the width of the tables. Just customizing a little bit here and there. And the big change, so there's even like a hover, the color of something when you hover over it. The big change that I made is I added a few customized, I had my own header along with the color of the link, color of the, this is going to be the actual super sprite and words that we see at the top. I'm making them a little bit bigger. So I'm going to take this and replace what we have in here. And I wonder if we'll even have to refresh, or if we have to restart. Continue. Oh, I need to start my server. That would help. And there we go, looking much better. That's all from the CSS that I changed, and we just added this header. So now if I type somebody's name in here, let's try Skywalker. Is he in there? He is. That header now appears in both the list students view and the search by ID view. And so we've updated the look and feel of our application, so things are really coming along.